In the ivy-covered halls of Sterling University, one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, a storm was quietly brewing. Known for its elite faculty and rigorous programs, Sterling prided itself on tradition, excellence, and, though never admitted openly, exclusivity. This was the world 17-year-old Maya Johnson was stepping into. Maya, a bright-eyed, determined young woman, had grown up in a working-class neighborhood where dreams often clashed with reality. But Maya was different. Numbers danced for her, equations sang, and calculus was not just a subject, it was a language she spoke fluently. Despite her flawless academic record and near-perfect test scores, Maya was no stranger to the subtle whispers of doubt. "She must have had help," some would murmur. "A fluke, a diversity pick." The whispers followed her all the way to Sterling, where she had been accepted into an advanced calculus seminar led by none other than Dr. Edwin Harrington, a celebrated scholar in the mathematics world. Dr. Harrington was not a cruel man, but he was a proud one. He believed in pedigree, in legacy, in the weight of family names. When Maya first walked into his seminar room, head high, spiral notebook in hand, he glanced at her briefly and assumed she would struggle. Alongside Harrington was Dr. Margaret Linton, a sharp-witted, award-winning professor known for her biting critiques. The two professors often engaged in intellectual sparring, but when it came to upholding the academic rigor of Sterling, they were aligned. From the start, the atmosphere was tense. During the first seminar, Dr. Harrington posed a particularly vicious problem on the board. "This," he said with a faint smirk, "should separate the wheat from the chaff." It was a notoriously difficult multivariable calculus problem, one that left even the best students fumbling. To Harrington's surprise, Maya raised her hand. Calmly, she approached the board. Her chalk danced across the surface, outlining gradients, partial derivatives, and elegantly applying Stokes's theorem. Within minutes, the problem was solved, the solution not just correct, but beautifully explained. The room fell silent. Dr. Linton narrowed her eyes. "Lucky shot," she muttered under her breath. But as the weeks passed, Maya continued to shatter expectations. Each class became an unspoken duel, the professors tossing out the hardest problems they could find, Maya solving them with grace. Word spread through the department. Who was this girl? Outside the classroom, Maya faced a different set of challenges. Her classmates were often polite but distant. She overheard conversations in the library, whispers that echoed the doubts she had heard all her life. "She's good, but let's see how long she can keep it up." Probably just memorizing methods. Maya carried the weight of these assumptions every day, but she refused to bend. One day, Dr. Harrington and Dr. Linton devised a plan. They invited Maya to a special symposium, a gathering of the department's brightest minds. The idea was simple: put Maya on the spot in front of an audience. Surely, under pressure, her supposed brilliance would crack. As Maya stood before the panel, the professors presented her with an unsolved problem, one that had baffled even seasoned mathematicians. The room was filled with an expectant hush. Maya took a breath. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the equations unfold in her mind. She began to speak, outlining her approach. The professors exchanged glances. They had expected hesitation, maybe confusion. Instead, Maya's reasoning was clear, her logic impeccable. Minutes ticked by as she worked through the layers of the problem, occasionally jotting notes on the board, her mind racing, but her voice steady. When she reached the end, she turned back to the room, her solution complete. There was silence. Then, a slow, deliberate clap. Dr. Harrington, usually composed, rose to his feet. "Miss Johnson," he said, his voice tinged with awe, "you are a remarkable talent." Dr. Linton, still seated, nodded reluctantly. "You've outdone even our best doctoral candidates." News of Maya's triumph spread beyond the department. Invitations to collaborate poured in from research groups and institutes. Yet Maya remained grounded. She knew that one victory didn't erase bias, didn't change decades of assumptions overnight. But it was a start. Weeks later, Maya found herself walking through the campus, her mind not on accolades but on her next project, a paper she was writing on the applications of advanced calculus in neural networks. She paused at the old mathematics building, remembering her first day there. Dr. Harrington approached her. "Maya," he said gently, "I owe you an apology." Maya smiled faintly. "You owe me a chance, Professor. That's all I ever wanted." And with that, Maya walked away, her eyes bright with determination. The future was wide open, and she was ready to meet it head-on. Not as a diversity pick, not as an exception, but as a mathematician, a scholar, a genius in her own right. As the sun set over Sterling University, the silhouette of a young black woman walking confidently across campus became more than just a figure in the landscape. It became a symbol of resilience, brilliance, and the quiet, unstoppable power of breaking barriers. The following week, campus buzzed with whispers about the upcoming advanced calculus competition. It was an annual event where top students showcased their problem-solving skills before the mathematics faculty. This time, Dr. Harrison had made sure Maya was invited, though his intentions were far from noble. "We'll see if she can handle the heat," he smirked to Dr. Walsh. "Let's see how she performs when the spotlight is on her." Maya, however, prepared silently. In the library late at night, she worked through centuries-old calculus problems, pushing herself far beyond the competition syllabus. Her best friend, Elena, often brought her snacks and worriedly watched her scribble furiously over pages. "Maya, you know they're setting you up," Elena whispered one evening. "I know," Maya replied calmly, "but they have no idea what I am capable of." The day of the competition arrived. The lecture hall was packed. Students, professors, even reporters came to watch. Dr. Harrison opened with a welcoming speech, his voice dripping with condescension. "And now," he said, "let's see which of you can handle the most advanced problems in modern calculus. We're all here to learn, after all." His gaze flickered to Maya, and she felt the weight of every skeptical eye in the room. The first round was a breeze. Integrals, derivatives, and differential equations, all basic fare for Maya. She solved them with swift precision, her pencil dancing across the paper. The second round introduced optimization problems. Maya visualized every curve, every constraint, and reduced each question to elegant solutions while the professors exchanged surprised glances. By the third round, the tension thickened. Dr. Harrison introduced unsolved or near unsolved problems from mathematical journals, nodding toward Maya as if daring her to fail. But Maya smiled softly. These were the problems she stayed up late pondering, the puzzles she loved most. She worked through them methodically, crossing out mistakes, refining her approach, and ultimately delivering answers that even the professors found hard to believe. Whispers spread through the room. Students leaned forward. Faculty members furrowed their brows. Dr. Walsh began murmuring to Dr. Harrison, She's not supposed to get this far." Finally, the last question appeared on the screen. A famously unsolved conjecture tied to partial differential equations, something no undergraduate was expected to touch. Maya inhaled deeply. She remembered late nights under her grandmother's watchful eye, studying old math books passed down through her family. She remembered the feeling of patterns aligning in her mind, of numbers making sense where none should. She got to work. The room fell silent. Even Dr. Harrison stopped pacing, his smirk replaced by tight-lipped focus. Maya's pencil moved slowly, carefully, almost like a painter adding the final strokes to a masterpiece. Then she put her pencil down. "I believe this formulation simplifies the boundary conditions," Maya said softly, pointing to her paper. "It doesn't solve the conjecture completely, but it suggests a reduction that might be tested further." A hush swept through the room. One by one, professors approached her desk. They peered at her notes, their eyes widening as they traced her logic. Dr. Walsh whispered something under his breath. Dr. Harrison's face paled. Then a slow, uncertain applause began. At first it came from a few students at the back, then spread through the room until the entire hall echoed with clapping. Maya stood up, unsure how to react. Elena rushed forward, hugging her tightly. "You did it!" Elena cried. "You showed them all." Dr. Harrison stepped forward, his voice trembling slightly. "Miss Williams, Maya, I must admit, I underestimated you." Maya smiled, her eyes bright. "It's okay, Professor. You weren't the first. You won't be the last." The reporters gathered, snapping photos and asking for interviews. Faculty members murmured about research opportunities. Students crowded around, eager to shake her hand. But Maya, grounded as always, just laughed and whispered to Elena, "Let's get some ice cream." Outside, under the clear night sky, Maya walked out of the lecture hall knowing that she hadn't just won a competition. She had shattered assumptions, broken through barriers, and carved a place for herself where few had believed she belonged. The professors would think twice next time. And Maya? She was just getting started. Maya Johnson sat at the polished oak desk, fingers trembling slightly as she adjusted her notebook. The cold, clinical eyes of the three elite math professors bore into her. She had been invited, or rather summoned, to the university's advanced calculus seminar after topping every math competition she entered. But from the moment she walked into the room, she sensed they didn't expect her to belong. Professor Langley, an older man with sharp features and an air of smugness, cleared his throat. "So, Miss Johnson, they say you're talented. We thought we'd test that." His colleagues, Professors Steele and Weiss, smirked slightly. Maya nodded calmly. She had faced doubt before. She was used to it. But today she was determined to prove she was more than just talented. She was exceptional. They gave her a set of problems meant to be unsolvable under pressure. Complex multivariable integrals, obscure theorems, and trick questions designed to trip up even top graduate students. Maya's mind whirred. As the professors watched, arms crossed, waiting for her to fumble, she instead flourished. Each equation, each symbol was a language she spoke fluently. She not only solved the problems but explained her reasoning with a clarity that left even Professor Weiss, known for his cutting critiques, blinking in surprise. "Impressive," Weiss muttered reluctantly. But Maya wasn't done. "Do you mind if I show you an alternate proof for this last problem?" she asked, her voice steady. Langley's eyes narrowed. "Alternate proof?" She stepped to the board, confidently outlining a solution using an elegant, lesser-known technique. By the time she finished, the room was silent. The word spread. Soon, Maya wasn't just the student they tried to stump. She was the student they wanted to learn from. Over the next few months, Maya's reputation soared. She published a paper on nonlinear dynamical systems that caught the attention of international mathematicians. Invited to conferences, she delivered talks with poise and insight far beyond her years. But behind the scenes, Maya faced challenges. While her professors eventually acknowledged her brilliance, some classmates whispered that she didn't deserve her place, claiming she was a diversity admit. Maya chose not to engage in petty arguments. Instead, she let her work speak. One afternoon, Professor Steele approached her privately. "I underestimated you, Maya. I think we all did. Have you considered graduate studies here? You'd have my full support." Maya smiled softly. "Thank you, Professor. I'm considering several offers." By her senior year, Maya was fielding offers from Ivy League schools, prestigious European programs, and even an invitation to collaborate with the renowned Fields medalist, Dr. Elena Novak. She often thought back to that first humiliating test, where they thought they could break her spirit. It became her fuel. On graduation day, Maya stood at the podium as class valedictorian. She looked out at the sea of faces, some proud, some surprised, some still skeptical, and she spoke of resilience, of staying true to one's passion despite barriers. "Mathematics," she said, "is not about where you come from or what people expect of you. It's about curiosity, rigor, and the joy of discovery." The crowd erupted in applause. Even the once skeptical professors stood. applauding her rise. But for Maya, this was just the beginning. After graduation, Maya accepted a fellowship at Cambridge, working under Dr. Novak. Together, they tackled unsolved problems in chaotic systems, pushing the boundaries of mathematical understanding. As Maya's name appeared more frequently in academic journals, she began mentoring younger students, especially girls of color, who looked up to her as a trailblazer. She remembered how lonely the journey could feel, and she was determined to change that. At a major conference in Berlin, Maya delivered the keynote lecture. As she spoke, she noticed familiar faces in the audience. Professors Langley, Steele, and Weiss. She smiled inwardly, remembering the young woman who had once stood nervously before them. Now, she was the authority they came to learn from. Back in her hotel room that night, Maya reflected on how far she had come. She knew the journey wasn't over. There would always be challenges, always more to learn, always new battles to fight. But she also knew one thing for certain. No one would ever underestimate her again. Maya's groundbreaking work in dynamical systems soon led her to be featured in international media. Time magazine listed her among the next-generation leaders, and scientific circles buzzed with excitement over her novel approaches. Yet, fame didn't change her core. Maya kept her humility and her relentless work ethic. She returned often to her hometown, speaking at local schools and encouraging young minds to embrace mathematics. She funded scholarships to ensure that underprivileged students had opportunities she never dreamed of as a child. One day, an invitation arrived from her alma mater. They wanted to award her an honorary doctorate, the youngest in their history. When she stepped onto the stage, robed in crimson and gold, she caught sight of Professor Langley in the front row, his eyes shining with pride and perhaps a touch of regret. In her acceptance speech, Maya addressed the next generation. I want every young person here to remember, brilliance knows no boundaries. Never let anyone make you feel small because of where you come from or what you look like. You are powerful, you are capable, and the world needs your mind. The applause was thunderous. That evening, Maya stood outside the grand hall, gazing up at the stars. She felt a profound sense of fulfillment, but also a stirring anticipation. There were new frontiers to explore, new theorems to prove, new lives to uplift. Maya Johnson, the girl they once tried to humiliate, had become not only a calculus genius, but a force reshaping the world of mathematics. And she was just getting started. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and drop comment below this video.